Would SEC teams even want Clemson to join the conference? That is my question today. I'm going to give my opinion on it and what I think those teams would really think. We know that all the expansion for these conferences and the realignment is all over the place. Texas and Oklahoma are already on their way to the SEC. I think they'll be playing by 2026. They should be in the conference. I'm not so certain it's going to happen in 23 or 24, but by 25 or 26, Texas and Oklahoma will be part of the Southeastern Conference. Now, there's been rumors that North Carolina, Clemson, Florida State, Miami, those kinds of schools, there's interest in them joining the SEC, but we'll hone in on Clemson here. This will be a somewhat Clemson-focused video. What would the SEC teams be gaining out of that? Other than the financials, obviously, you have to follow the money with all these situations, but other than the financials of it all, would a Georgia, would a South Carolina, would they really want Clemson joining the conference? I have an interesting take on that. Ryan Curley from Dog Post here, talking about the possibility of Clemson joining the SEC. Of course, something that's been going on. Listen, real quick, DAWGSTRUCTION, our insider book, if you haven't got it, we're running out of them, all right? Before we're going to have to order more, and then it's going to be a while. So make sure you're getting that book. If you get it right now, the limited offer we're doing right now is you get our Insider 2022 season preview magazine free. You can also get it separately. The links are down below. You don't want to miss out on that deal. You don't want to miss out on exclusive content. You can also pick this up at the Red Zone. If you're in Athens, that is also an option. Not sure how many copies are left there. I'll have to check. Let's talk about it, guys. Okay. Let's put the money aside because obviously these big conferences have a financial gain, but actually we'll start with money right here. We'll start with money. So these TV deals, okay, let's say, I don't know the exact number and it's not even really public information, but this Disney deal with the SEC, let's say the exact number is $500 million, okay, that they're dishing out per season. Okay, let's do the math. 16 SEC teams. 500 million divided by 16. Let's do some math on the fly. 3 zeros. That's over $31 million dished out per season to these teams. Now, let's say there's 4 more teams in the conference, but that deal is still the same. Disney won't fork up the extra money. Then you're getting less money per school. So, you can make a financial argument against it too. Now, I don't know if these big networks and TV companies would pay more if there's more. I don't know. I'm not some network genius. I don't know. But from a financial standpoint, it may not even make the most sense. Now, moving on. The ACC, don't know if they can even get it. The ACC contract's complicated. They're a lot more locked in than USC and UCLA are with the Pac-12. So they'd lose a lot of money to leave the ACC and go to the SEC. It wouldn't be, it would be a long-term investment, but you'd be paying millions and millions of dollars to get out and to go to the SEC. So all the financials out of the way. The argument has, these last few years, Clemson's got an easy path to the national championship. They've got an easy path to the playoff. They've just been beating up on all these bad ACC teams. And guess what? The ACC is still bad, all right? Miami might get better. North Carolina's gotten better. But outside of that, it's not a good conference. There's some hype around NC State. But right now, in college football, the ACC doesn't matter that much outside of Clemson, okay? Florida State's not what it was. Would Clemson survive in the SEC the way it did in the ACC? And the answer is no. No. When they're playing an SEC schedule, it'll be a lot tougher. They drop a lot more sleeper games. That means they'd be playing teams like Georgia every year. They would have to add like a Florida or something like that to the schedule, or in Alabama. And I don't know that they would be surviving that schedule as much. And why would the SEC and these teams and these presidents sign off on an excuse for Clemson to join them after all this time? I think it's an interesting conversation to have. I don't know what's going through Dabo's mind. I know Dabo Swinney has been very much against the last 2 years, the way college football has really just transformed, NIL, transfer portal, all of that. I don't know what Dabo's take is on all this realignment, but he hasn't been transforming with the times the way you have to if you want to stay successful over generations. You have to transform with the times, and it's not just football. That is media, that is social media, that is television, it is sports. I mean, on the actual playing field, it's salesmanship, stocks. You have to transform with the times to succeed. Dabo doesn't do that as well as a lot of other coaches do. We've seen them not do very well in the transfer portal. We've seen them against NIL, and that's going to work against them because Clemson's not spending as much on recruiting as some of these SEC schools. Why give them the extra money, right? Why would Georgia and Alabama and these teams want Clemson to have this extra money to go out there and actually spend on these things that they are above them on? Why would they want them to go so they could catch up? I don't think that these schools would necessarily want that. I kind of don't. And you're talking about, and then in the joking sense, letting that team in, letting them have get off the hook. Oh, you don't now you can't say it anymore. Now you can't say that Clemson's got that easy schedule, that easy path. Listen, guys, I don't know how many teams are going to end up being. I don't know how these super conferences are going to go. If we keep going in this direction, it's going to be a lot like the NFL with 2 big conferences and an extended playoff. If that's what happens, fine. The best teams will almost always prevail. Clemson is one of those teams. I don't think Clemson's a playoff team this year. They have to, from what I saw last year, they'd have to improve, and I don't know that they have improved that much, and you just lost your offensive and your defensive coordinator. They just bounced, all right? Brett Venables was huge for Clemson in recruiting, all right? That defense had a lot to do with Brett Venables. They were a fantastic defense for a few years there. He's in Oklahoma, all right? Chase Elliott is gone, the guy that was helping run your offense. Is DJU the generational guy that Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence was? I don't think so. I didn't mean for this to be a bash Clemson video, and it is a little bit in a sense now that I'm thinking about everything I've said, but it's more so about what would that add to the SEC that they don't already have. I mean, they're already getting Texas and Oklahoma. They're already getting the major brands in college football. Clemson had a great 7-year stretch of college football, right? They had a great 7-year, but their brand isn't what some of these SEC teams are and what Texas and Oklahoma are. So I don't think, man, I'm not signing off on it. If it all does come to fruition and there is a path for Clemson and these other schools, I'm really taking a double look at that before I sign off on it. If I'm an SEC president, athletic directors, the people who are pushing for this kind of stuff, I'm looking at it twice. That's what I had to say today. DAWGSTRUCTION, cool pictures. Images that you don't see in DAWGSTRUCTION are in here. Stories that you're not going to get anywhere else are in these 2 pieces of literature. Yes, I just called it literature. See you at the site, dawgpost.com.